it was a very, very difficult issue because of the emotions that it raised that were involved, and the strength of this was only a Democratic issue. There were no Republican supporters at all. The interest groups were active, the NRA, but soon we had the Brady group, and they were, in terms of being in favor of gun control, they were good lobbyists. They weren't, they were just very good. They were, you know, there's some lobbyists that know how to get things done and how to frame arguments, and they were quite effective and remain effective. Largely, people were, as they were all over the country, desperate for something. You know, the horror of it, the horror of the mass shootings. But the recognition that, frankly, there's a lot of damage that goes on. That's not just mass shooting. There's damage from accidental shooting, from you know, as a byproduct of a bad relationship gone, you know, poor relationship gone worse, you know, gotten sour. But everybody sort of knew you could, you know, on California, you could do some laws involving guns themselves and ammunition, and we did those, and members did those. Hard fought bills, they were signed often or not signed. There were many of them. But generally, you know, you really were at a loss, frankly, to figure out what would really change this dynamic. Congressman Dickey and another one did away with this. They they just eliminated research into guns from the budget and from the charge of the NIH. And I said, well, you know, what about the University of California? Why don't we create an institute? Why don't we do it here? I said, there's a lot of areas of gun safety that, and I made the analogy to cars. Cars used to kill lots of people, you know, thousands. Why? Because they were lousily built. They didn't have seat belts. You know, they were built out of terrible materials. They crushed at the minute, you know, whatever. But seat belts were an incredible step forward. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do something like that? And you know, maybe that would make a difference. You know, if can guns be safer? I mean, that would be anathema to talk about. But are background checks really effective? Is that really the way we want to go? You know, what can we do that's effective? How can we know if all this legislation is making a difference? So he said, you know, well, if we had an institute, you know, that did this, we'd know, and we'd be able to direct our legislation in that way. Well, I thought that was a great idea. So I introduced a bill to create a firearm violence research center at UC, not specifying which one, at UC. I introduced that in 2014, and it was an excellent discussion, an excellent bill to take. Here's where my reputation mattered. People knew I was serious. I normally did not enter the gun arena in general. I wasn't one of those that carried the gun bills. But I worked with police, and I worked with as many people as I could to try and get this approved. And lo and behold, I did. It was Jerry Brown took it, put it in his budget, funded it for 5 years, and lo and behold, there it was. And that's when I realized, oh, that's what it means to put something in the budget with the governor. You know,